March 14, 1943, 0647 hours. Over the jade-green ridges of the Arakan coast, Burma. The sun is a molten coin on the horizon, and the air tastes of kerosene and cordite. Squadron leader James Storrar banks his de Havilland Mosquito FB.VI, serial HJ732, hard left. The twin Merlins howl like wolves. Frost spiders across the cockpit glass. Below, 3 Ki-43 Oscars slice upward in perfect V formation, their rising sun roundels bleeding red against the dawn. Storrar's gloved thumb hovers over the cannon button. His navigator, Flight Lieutenant Bunny Finch, counts the seconds aloud. 20, 15, closing fast. On the ground, 200 miles east in a bamboo operations hut, Imperial Japanese Army Air Force ace Saburō Sakai sips lukewarm tea and laughs. Flying furniture, he calls the Mosquito, bamboo and glue against samurai steel. Back in the sky, the lead Oscar opens fire. Tracers stitch the air like glowing hornets. One round punches through HJ732's starboard wing root. Wood splinters. The smell of burning balsa floods the cockpit. Storrar doesn't flinch. He rolls inverted, the world flipping upside down, and dives straight at the Oscars. You can almost feel the G-force crush your ribs. The first burst from his 420mm Hispano cannons rips the lead key 43 in half. Fuel ignites. A second Oscar spirals, wing sheared clean. The third pilot, eyes wide behind cracked goggles, yanks his stick and vanishes into cloud. Finch's voice cracks over the intercom. "Bloody hell, sir. We just carved them out of the sky." Storrar levels out, breathing hard. Dawn light glints off the Mosquito's varnished plywood skin, unmarked except for the fresh scar. He keys the mic, calm as Sunday tea. Bandits splashed, returning to base, but Sakai's laughter still echoes in Tokyo's war rooms. The Mosquito is a joke, they say, a toy. They have no idea the joke is on them. 6 months earlier, September 1942, a rain-slicked hangar at Hatfield, Hertfordshire. The smell of fresh dope and sawdust hangs thick as fog. Jeffrey de Havilland Jr. runs a hand along the Mosquito's curved fuselage. Birch plywood, balsa core, spruce stringers. No aluminum, no steel, just wood. Engineers from the Air Ministry shake their heads. Too fragile, they mutter. A strong breeze will tear it apart. De Havilland smiles. He's heard it before. The same men who laughed at the DH-88 Comet now scoff at his timber terror. Inside the prototype, W4050, test pilot Jeffrey Pike straps in. The Merlins cough, then roar. He taxis into the storm. At 400 miles per hour, the airframe flexes like a bow. No creaks, no shudders. The speed needle kisses 4:05. Back in the hangar, de Havilland's chief designer, Ronald Bishop, lights a cigarette with shaking hands. "It flies," he whispers, like it was born in the sky. Word reaches Burma Command by December. The 45 Squadron CEO, Wing Commander Peter Wycombe Barnes, reads the specs and laughs out loud. A bomber made of bloody furniture? Send it to the scrap heap, but the Mosquito keeps flying, keeps breaking records, keeps surviving. By March 1943, HJ732 rolls off the production line at Leavesden. Storrar takes delivery on a muddy airstrip near Chittagong. He climbs the ladder, pats the wing. "Feels like a racing yacht," he says. Finch, loading the ammo belts, grins. "Let's see if the Japs think it's funny when we shove 20mm up their tailpipes." They don't know it yet, but the wooden wonder is about to rewrite the rules of air combat, and Saburō Sakai's tea is about to go cold. August 7th, 1942, 14:12 hours, Guadalcanal, Solomon Islands. The sky is a furnace of white heat and black flak. Saburō Sakai, 26 kills, painted as rising suns on his Zero's tail, climbs through 20,000 feet. His A6M2 is a silver dragonfly, light as rice paper, deadly as a katana. Below, a formation of 8 F-4F Wildcats lumbers into view. Sakai smiles behind his oxygen mask. "American pigs in tin cans." He dives. Guns chatter. One Wildcat folds like wet cardboard. Another, a third. In 90 seconds, Sakai claims 4. He banks away untouched, not a scratch. Back at Rabaul, Japanese pilots crowd around him. They slap his back. Poor Sake. Teach us, Sakai-san. He stands on a crate, voice calm. Speed is life, turn is death. The Zero dances. Their planes. Clunk. Months later, intelligence reports filter in. A new British plane in Burma. Twin engines. Wood construction. Sakai snorts. Flying furniture. Let it come. He sketches the Mosquito on a napkin. Crude lines. A joke. But in London, RAF intelligence pores over Sakai's combat reports. Every Zero victory, every tactic. They mark his name in red. A dossier lands on Storrar's desk at Chittagong. Photo of Sakai, lean face, cold eyes. Japan's top ace. Never been hit. Never missed a Storrar, studies it, thumbs the edge. Finch leans over. Think we'll meet him, sir? Storrar folds the photo, tucks it in his breast pocket. If we do, the furniture's going to bite. The monsoon drums on the tin roof. Somewhere over the horizon, Sakai sharpens his claws, and the Mosquito waits, silent, varnished, lethal. March 14th, 1943, 0630 hours, Akiab Airfield, Japanese-held Burma. The air is thick with mosquito buzz and the stink of aviation fuel. Saburō Sakai straps into his Kai-43 Oscar, borrowed from the 64th Sentai. Zero production lags. The Oscar will do. He taxis past ground crews bowing low. His mission, escort 12 Betty bombers to bomb Chittagong. Easy meet. At 6:45, Sakai's formation climbs into the rose gold sky. 3 Oscars in loose Vic. Below, the Bay of Bengal glitters like broken glass. 17 minutes later, radar at Cox's Bazaar pings 2 blips. Fast, high, closing. Storrar and Finch in HJ 732, running on 3,000 RPM boost. Finch's voice is ice. Bandits, 11 o'clock low. 12 Bettys, 3 fighters. Storrar pushes the throttles through the gate. The Mosquito leaps forward, airframe singing. Wood flexes, but holds. Sakai spots them first. Twin booms. Plywood wings. He keys the radio, laughing. British joke plane. Ignore it. Focus on bombers. The Oscars tighten formation. Betty's drone on. Bellies full of 250-kilogram bombs. Storrar drops the nose. 400 miles per hour. 410. The speed needle trembles. Finch arms the cannons. Range 2,000. 1,500. Sakai glances back. The Mosquito is a speck, then a blur, then a predator. He breaks left, hard. Too late. Storrar rolls inverted, canopy toward the sea. The world spins. His thumb squeezes. 4 Hispano cannons spit fire. 24 rounds per second. The lead Oscar disintegrates. Wingman number 2 loses a wing, cartwheels into the jungle. Sakai yanks his stick, climbing for cloud. Tracers stitch the air inches behind his tail. He looks down. The 3rd Oscar is gone. The Bettys scatter like startled ducks. Storrar pulls out of the dive, engines screaming. Finch whoops over the intercom. 2 confirmed, sir, maybe 3. Sakai levels at 25,000 feet, breathing hard. For the first time in 60 combats, his hands shake. Below, the Mosquito banks east, untouched. A wooden ghost in a metal war. Sakai's radio crackles. Mission aborted. Return to base. He stares at the empty sky where his wingman burned. The laughter is gone. March 14th, 1943, 7:10 hours. Akiab Dispersal Hut, Burma. The monsoon wind rattles the tin roof like machine gun fire. Saburō Sakai climbs down from his Oscar, boots splashing in puddles of glycol and blood. Ground crews stare at the empty spaces where 2 fighters should be. He rips off his flight helmet. Sweat beads on his forehead despite the dawn chill. A lieutenant approaches, pale. Sakai-san, the British plane, it was made of wood? Sakai's fist slams the wing. Wood! It flew like a demon. He storms into the ops room. Maps cover the table. Red pins mark lost patrols. Colonel Tamiya, 64th Sentai commander, looks up. Report. Sakai's voice is steel. 2 pilots gone. Mosquito, 400 miles an hour. Cannons like thunder. We laughed. It slaughtered us. Tamiya's pipe drops from his mouth. Wood? Sakai nods. Balsa and birch. faster than our best. Turns like a zero, hits like a fortress. Across the room, a young pilot whispers, "Kamigami no Kagu!" God's furniture. The name sticks. That night, Sakai sits alone in the mess. Sake untouched. He sketches the Mosquito from memory. Long nose, twin tails, blister canopy. Every line perfect. Every line a threat. Radio Tokyo crackles with propaganda. British plane of paper and string destroyed by valiant pilots. Sakai switches it off. He knows the truth. In Chittagong, Storrar and Finch drain warm beer in the officer's tent. A photographer snaps HJ-732, plywood gleaming, 3 fresh kill markings under the cockpit. Finch raises his glass. To the wooden wonder. Storrar stares at the photo of Sakai in his pocket. He felt it today. The bite outside, armorers load fresh belts into the Hispano magazines. The Mosquito's belly hungers. Word spreads through the RAF grapevine. 1 Mosquito, 1 patrol, 3 Oscars down. In Delhi, Air Marshal Pierce reads the combat report and underlines a single line. Enemy morale shaken. He picks up the phone. Send every Mosquito we have to Burma. Now the jungle night hums with insects and distant thunder. But a new sound cuts through. The low growl of Merlin engines being run up on dispersal pans. The Empire's nightmare has wings of balsa, and it's just getting started. April 22nd, 1943. 0555 hours. Rangoon Mingaladon Airfield, Burma. The tarmac steams under a blood-red sunrise. Saburō Sakai stands beside his new Ki 43-2, engine cowling open. Mechanics swarm like ants, fitting a 20mm Ho-5 cannon in each wing. No more 7.7mm pop guns. He hasn't slept. Nightmares of plywood wings and flaming comrades. Colonel Tamiya briefs the room. Today we hunt the Mosquito. No escort, no bombers, just the Demon 6 Oscars. Sakai leads. Call sign, Tora 1. Intelligence says the British fly the same route. Chittagong to Akyab, then south along the coast. They'll be waiting. At 6:15, throttles forward. The Oscars leap into the sky, climbing hard. 30 miles north, Storrar and Finch launch from Cox's Bazaar. HJ-732 freshly patched, varnish still tacky. 420mm, 2.303s in the nose. Full war load. Finch checks the gun sight. Same patrol, sir? Storrar nods. Let's give them a rematch. They climb to 28,000 feet. Thin air, ice on the windscreen. At 6:42, Sakai's radar operator shouts, "Contact!" 2 blips, north-northwest. High and fast, Sakai's pulse quickens. He keys the mic. Tora flight, climb to Angels 30. Attack formation, the Oscars surge upward, superchargers whining. Storrar spots them first, 6 specks against the rising sun. Bandits, 12 o'clock high. Looks like they came to play Finch arms the cannons. Range? 10 miles in closing. Hold fire, Sakai sees the Mosquito now. Same silhouette, same deadly grace. He remembers the laughter. No more, he rolls inverted, diving from 30,000 feet. The Oscar screams. 400 miles per hour, 410. Storrar meets him head-on. 2 predators on a collision course. You can feel the tension coil in your gut. At 1,000 yards, both open fire. Tracers cross like fiery lances. Sakai's 20mm rounds spark off HJ-732's nose. Wood chips fly. Storrar's cannons answer. The lead Oscar's engine explodes. Fuel tank. Fireball. Sakai jinks left. His wingman isn't so lucky. A 20mm shell cores through the cockpit. The Oscar flips, plummets. Storrar brakes hard right. Finch yells, "2 down!" Sakai climbs, turns, dives again. This time, he's behind. Perfect deflection shot. He squeezes. Rounds walk up the Mosquito's tail. 1 hits the starboard Merlin. Oil pressure drops. Temperature spikes. Storrar feathers the prop. Engine 2 hit. Losing power, Finch looks back. Sakai is closing, relentless. The jungle rushes up. The Arakan hills loom like green teeth. Storrar pushes the nose down. Speed is life. Sakai follows. Gun silent. Ammo low. He wants the kill clean. But the Mosquito is wounded, not dead. Storrar levels at 500 feet. Treetops blur. Sakai overshoots. For one fatal second, he's in front. Storrar's good engine roars. He fires. The burst takes Sakai's Oscar in the belly. Fuel ignites. Sakai pulls the canopy, bails out. His parachute blooms white against the green hell. Storrar circles once, sees the ace hit the ground, roll, stand. Finch's voice is quiet. "We got him, sir." Storrar banks east, one engine feathered, smoke trailing. Behind, 4 Oscars limp home, 2 pilots gone. Sakai alive but burning with shame. The wooden wonder flies on, battered, bleeding oil, unbroken. April 22nd, 1943, 0705 hours. A jungle clearing 12 miles south of Akyab. The air reeks of burning Avgas and wet earth. Saburō Sakai hits the ground hard, knees buckling in knee-deep mud. His flight suit smokes where embers kiss the fabric. He rips free of the parachute harness, draws his Nambu pistol. Above, the Mosquito limps east on one engine, a thin black ribbon of smoke marking its path. Sakai watches until it vanishes beyond the hills. He is alive, but his pride lies in pieces with the wreckage of his Oscar. 20 minutes later, Arakan peasants find him. They bow, offer water. He waves them away. By dusk, a Ki-27 Nate spots him, drops a message canister. Pickup at first light. Back at Mangaladon, Colonel Tamiya waits on the tarmac. Sakai salutes, face streaked with soot. Tamiya's voice is low. "How many did we lose?" "2 confirmed, 2 more limping. The Mosquito, 1 engine gone, still flew." Tamiya lights a cigarette with trembling fingers. "Tokyo will want answers." Sakai stares at the horizon. "Tell them the wooden plane is real, and it hunts." That night, Japanese cipher clerks tap out urgent signals. "All units, priority threat, the Havilland Mosquito. Engage with caution." In Chittagong, Storrar sets HJ-732 down on one wheel, then the other. The starboard Merlin is a scorched ruin. Ground crew swarm, faces grim. Finch climbs out, legs shaking. "Thought we were done for, sir." Storrar pats the fuselage. "She held." That's what matters. A signals officer runs up with a flimsy. Delhi wants a full report, and every Mosquito in theater on standby. By morning, the story spreads like wildfire through RAF messes. 1 wooden fighter bomber, 1 engine, 3 Oscars down, Sakai himself bailed out. Pilots crowd around HJ-732, touching the splintered wood like it's holy. A flight sergeant chalks beneath the cockpit. Timber terror, 6 Japs and counting. In London, the Air Ministry scrambles. Production lines at Hatfield triple shifts. Every Mosquito rolling out now carries Burma stars on the nose. Jeffrey de Havilland reads the combat logs in his office. He underlines Storrar's name, then Sakai's. He murmurs to the empty room, "From furniture to Phoenix." Over the next weeks, Mosquitoes pour into Burma. 45 Squadron, 684 Squadron, photo recon birds with blistering speed, night intruders with black bellies, pathfinders dropping flares like judgment. Japanese flak gunners learn to dread the whistle of Merlins at 400 miles per hour. Radar operators curse the ghost blip that never slows. Sakai, grounded for a month with burns, trains new pilots in a classroom. He draws the Mosquito on a blackboard, every curve, every weakness. There are none. He tells them, forget the wood, fear the speed, fear the guns, fear the men who fly it. But the Empire is learning the hard way. Every dawn, plywood wings eclipse the rising sun, and somewhere over the jungle, Storrar and Finch load fresh belts. The Mosquito hungers. The war is far from over. December 3rd, 1943, 16:42 hours, 50 miles west of Rangoon, Burma. The sky is a bruised purple, monsoon clouds boiling like ink in water. Squadron leader James Storrar, DFC and bar, leads 4 Mosquitoes in a shallow dive. HJ-732 is gone, replaced by PZ-189, fresh from the factory, kill tally already at 9. Finch sits behind him, eyes sharp, hands steady on the gun sight. Their target, Rangoon's Central Railway marshalling yards. Intel says 200 freight cars loaded with aviation fuel for the push into India. Below, Saburō Sakai, now Major, 60 kills, eyes patched from Guadalcanal shrapnel, scrambles from Mingaladon. 4 Kai, 84 Hayates, Japan's newest, fastest fighters. Sakai's voice is iron over the radio. This ends today. The Mosquitoes drop to 50 feet, skimming the Irrawaddy River. Water sprays the bellies. Storrar's altimeter spins. Finch calls. Flak towers at 2 o'clock. Heavy stuff, black puffs bloom ahead. 37mm shells stitch the air. Storrar jinks left, right. 1 Mosquito takes a hit. Port wing shredded, pilot wrestling the stick as it spirals into the paddy fields. 3 left. Sakai's Hayates dive from 20,000 feet, 450 miles per hour. Cannons hungry. Storrar sees them. Bandits, 6 high. Break and climb. The Mosquitoes haul up in a Chandelle, engines screaming at 3,000 RPM. Wood creaks. G-forces crush chests. Sakai singles out PZ-189. He remembers the silhouette, the same demon. He closes to 800 yards, fires. 20mm shells spark off the Mosquito's tail. Elevator fabric tears. Storrar rolls, dives, pulls up inside Sakai's turn. Finch has the deflection. Got him! 4 cannons roar. The lead Hayate's wing folds. It cartwheels, explodes midair. Sakai breaks hard. His wingman isn't fast enough. Mosquito number 2 latches on, rips the fuselage open. 2 down. The rail yards loom. Storrar arms the 500-pounders. Bombs gone! 4 bombs tumble. Direct hits. Fuel cars erupt in a chain of fireballs that lights the dusk orange. Sakai, rage blinding him, dives again. This time he's inside 400 yards. Perfect shot. But PZ-189 is faster. Storrar snaps into a barrel roll. Sakai overshoots. Finch fires upward. Cannons tear into the Hayate's belly. Oil sprays. Engine seizes. Sakai pulls the canopy. Bails out for the 2nd time in his life. His parachute opens over the burning yards. He watches the Mosquitoes climb into the clouds. Untouched. On the ground, Japanese troops run from the inferno. The railway is gone. Supply lines severed. Storrar circles once, sees the tiny figure in the chute. He tips a wing, a salute, then turns for home. Sakai lands in mud surrounded by flames. He doesn't draw his pistol, just stares at the sky. The wooden wonder is gone, but its shadow will haunt him forever. January 1944, Imperial Japanese Army HQ, Singapore. The map room smells of mildew and defeat. General Count Terauchi Hisaichi slams a fist on the table. Red arrows show Allied advances: Kohima, Imphal, Mietkina. Every arrow fueled by one thing: the Mosquito. Intelligence Officer Colonel Hashimoto bows low. Mosquito squadrons now number 120 in Burma. Recon, bombing, strafing. Our radar cannot track. Our fighters cannot catch. Terauchi's voice is gravel. And Sakai? In hospital. Eyes failing. Spirit. Broken Sakai lies in a Rangoon ward. Bandages over his face. He dreams of plywood wings. Wakes screaming. Across the Bay of Bengal, Chittagong Airfield is a hive. Mosquitoes line the pans like wooden sharks. Mechanics work by floodlight. Every plane carries a name: Timberwolf, Balsa Blitz, Sakai's Bane. Storrar, now wing commander, briefs 45 Squadron. Chart on the wall: 214 confirmed kills, 147 Japanese aircraft, 67 trains, 14 bridges. He taps the map. Rangoon's done. Next stop, Bangkok. Finch, promoted to squadron leader, grins. Think the Thais will laugh at the furniture? Laughter ripples. Confidence is a weapon now. In Tokyo, Admiral Yamamoto's successor reads the latest loss report. He underlines one line: the Havilland Mosquito, strategic threat equal to B-29. He orders every resource to the Kai-84 program. Too late. Production crawls. Pilots train on bamboo mock-ups. By March, Mosquitoes fly unopposed. They photograph Singapore's docks at 400 miles per hour, 50 feet off the water. Film canisters dropped by parachute, not a shot fired. Night after night, black-painted FB.VIS prowl. They drop 4,000-pound cookies on airfields. Wake to find runways cratered, Zeros burning. Japanese pilots refuse dawn patrols. They call it Makuzai no Akumu, the wooden nightmare. In London, Geoffrey de Havilland receives the Night Bachelor. He stands before King George VI. The citation reads, "For creating a weapon that turned laughter into surrender." He thinks of Storrar, of Sakai, of the boy in Hatfield who glued balsa models. Back in Burma, Storrar and Finch fly one last mission. April 15, 1944. Target, Sakai's old base at Mingaladan. They dive through flak, drop their bombs, strafe the hangars. As they climb away, Finch looks down. The airfield is a smoking ruin. Storrar keys the mic. For the ones who laughed, they turn west. The sun sets behind them, painting the Mosquito gold. The war in Burma is ending, not with a bang, but with the whisper of plywood wings. May 8, 1945, VE Day. London streets flood with cheers and confetti. In a quiet pub off the Strand, James Storrar, now Group Captain, DSO, DFC, raises a pint to a wooden scale model of PZ-189 on the bar. Finch, wingless now, retired on medical grounds, clinks glasses. To the ones who never came home. Across the world, in a small house outside Tokyo, Saburō Sakai, blind in one eye, honorably discharged, listens to the Emperor's surrender broadcasts. He sits in darkness. The radio crackles. The war situation has developed not necessarily to Japan's advantage. He fingers the silk scarf he wore on his last flight. Still smells of avgas and jungle rain. A single thought loops. Wood beats steel. Years later, 1962. Hatfield Airfield, now a museum. Storrar, gray at the temples, walks children past the restored W4050. A boy tugs his sleeve. "Was it really made of wood, sir?" Storrar kneels. "Every inch, and it flew faster, fought harder, and scared the enemy more than any metal plane ever did." In Japan, Sakai publishes his memoir. Chapter 17, The Wooden Demon. He writes, "I laughed once. Then I learned fear has no nationality, only speed. A reunion in Honolulu. Storrar and Sakai, old men now, shake hands across a table. No translators needed. Sakai taps the mosquito photo between them. You flew it well." Storrar smiles. "You made us earn every victory." They share sake. Outside, the Pacific glitters. The war is long over. But every time a child looks up at a clear sky and imagines wings, the echo of merlins and the whisper of balsa live on. From mockery to myth, from furniture to freedom, the mosquito never truly landed. Inari Chai.